Hello everyone and welcome to Faves of 15 with me, William Strife. This is basically a kind of Slice with Strife type of series that I'm going to be doing. And it's where it's the end of the year, it's the end of 2015. I want to show you guys some of the great games that I have intensely enjoyed spending a lot of time with over the year of 2015. And I just want you guys to see these games and know that they're fantastic and I've spent a lot of time with them. And you guys should check them out yourself if you haven't yet. So to start everything off, I'm going to be looking at Hand of Fate here. This is a nice card game type experience. It's unique. It's like D&D and card games mixed together in a very video game type way. So let's just start and see the way that this plays.
One more for the game. Come, sit.
You have passed the 13 gates. And you come to my table to play the game of life and death. Your stake is wagered. I refuse none who come here. Yet, I say, turn back. Back so soon? I knew you would not falter. Here is the first member of my court, the Jack of Dust. 12 in all must fall before you may challenge me.
Alright, the Jack of Dust. The bandit leader is stronger and faster than most bandits encountered. He can become enraged, making powerful, unblockable attacks. He also inspires his followers to steal gold on each hit. Okay, so, this is the way that the game plays out. It's based on suits, essentially, so, you know, Jack, Queen, King, there are 4 different suits, which makes for 12 different bosses, because each Jack, Queen, and King of each suit is considered a boss. So you have to go through the Jack, and then you have to beat the Queen, and then you have to beat the King. So, the first of them is the Jack.
Let the cards fall where they may. We begin.
So, we start the game. As you can see, we have this little token here, and I can choose where to move it. So, the only way that I can go is forward. It's a little bit like a board game.
I was never a fan of illusion or pretense. Here, I'll make an exception.
So, we have Mr. Lionel. So we get a little bit of a story here. Whilst enjoying your evening meal at the local tavern, a strange old man takes a seat next to yours. He taps your shoulder quite painfully with his wooden staff to get your attention, and you notice that he appears to be a goblin, poorly disguised as a human. His wizened face grins at you with a hint of madness. My name is Mr. Lionel. If you give me what I need, boy, I will conjure up your heart's desire with this wizarding wand of my own creation. He cackles uncontrollably for a few moments, then sits patiently waiting for your answer. Okay, so I have 4 options. I can give him the bread off of my plate. I can give him 20 gold, ask him what he needs, or ignore him altogether. So the thing is, Mr. Lionel he's usually very helpful. What he gives you will be something good. Unfortunately, I don't have gold to give him, so I can give him some food off of my plate. Now, as you can see down in the bottom left corner, it says food and gold and health, alright? So if I give him the food off of my plate, that's going to detract from my overall supplies. But that's all that I have an option for, and it will be beneficial, so I'm going to give him food. He considers the bread seriously before placing it carefully in his coat pocket, seemingly satisfied. Mr. Lionel taps his staff on the ground, and a shield materializes at your feet. There you go, old bean. He smiles a warm grin that reveals his chipped and yellow teeth. Your face reminds me of my son. Haven't met him before, have I? Draw 1 shield card. So from our equipment stack, we draw a shield. Okay, so reflect. Shield with this trait allows the hero to reflect projectiles and etc. So basically, you cannot use a counter move, or in other words, it's a little bit like the Batman series of games where you wait until there's some sort of an icon above an enemy's head and you press a button and you can counter them, okay? So you cannot counter people unless you have a shield equipped. So, very important. There you go, counter.
You can now reflect your opponent's ranged attacks using your shield. Make good use of this skill if you wish to survive.
Alright, next card up, the Twisted Canyon. So this is a little bit like some of the encounter cards you get. You see a weapon glinting in the sunlight lying next to a skeleton at the bottom of a canyon. The walls of the canyon are covered in thick vines, perfect for climbing. So I can either climb down to retrieve the weapon or just move on my way. I'm going to try to climb down for it. Now we get into one of the ways that you can be challenged.
Choose from these options.
Okay, so I know that this is a success because I watched it. Alright. Very carefully, you make your way down to the bottom of the canyon. If I had failed, I would have slipped and fell and lost some health, probably. You retrieve the weapon from the ancient corpse. Draw one weapon card. So, I get a sword. Damage 23. So that does a little bit more damage than my old rusty axe, so I'll equip that.
A moment to savor. That will make you much more effective.
Now the maiden. One day, in a shady forest, you encounter an elf maiden. She stops to greet you. I am Merith of the Forest Folk. My people have long helped the mortals of this realm. What boon would you ask of me? Alright, so she's very, very generous. She's going to give us something. So I can ask for longer life, which effectively will raise my maximum health. I can ask for supplies, that'll give me more food, or I can ask for gold. I think I'm okay for supplies right now because the first level is very easy on you. I'm going to ask for gold, because I will encounter a traitor sooner or later. Merith seems surprised. It is unlike an adventurer to beg for coin, but very well, if that is your wish. The dealer draws you 3 gold gain cards. Okay, so these gold cards will come out of his hand. 15 gold.
I'm sure you are grateful for that.
3 gold. And 30 gold. Oh, wow. Okay, so I turned out really, really lucky here. I am now up to 58 gold. The elders of our kind often say that we must retread paths we once took in order to gain an advantage on the present. Farewell, farewell, mortal. Alright.
Bound once more, seeking the heart of it all.
Okay, so now we've reached the end of this particular section of the board game, essentially, or the dungeon. I found some stairs. You have discovered the exit to this area. We'll take the stairs. You embark upon the next leg of your adventure.
You are on the final floor of our simple map. Your opponent waits here for you. Find him. If you defeat me, well, it is early to be talking about victories and losses. Let us see what you're made of.
Alright, so, Traveling Tinkerer. This is a shop. In a shady grove off the beaten trail, you find a traveling merchant looking to trade with wandering adventurers. So, I can either approach or pass by. I'm going to go ahead and step up. Greetings, wise traveler. I have much to offer you. So now we see that it's not just a card game.
If you were wondering why you've been collecting all that gold, you now have your answer. We're starting to get into the meat of the game now. The back and forth between resources and rewards.
Okay, so I've got an axe here. This does a little bit more damage than my sword. I think my sword does 23. This does 25. No need for it, though. Instead, let's look at these more expensive artifacts here. Any healing that the player receives is doubled. Probably not all that valuable because I don't have, like, an artifact that will heal me in the midst of combat right now, and the dungeon is almost over. Explorer's Helmet reveals stairs encountered upon entering a level, and grants a gold bonus for revealing every encounter on the level. So this is going to be fairly useful. So I'll go ahead and buy this.
A small aid to navigation, but still.
Now, I can also sell items, so I can come in here and I can look at some of this old junk that I've got. Doesn't look like I can sell, it doesn't look like my rusty axe is available for me to sell, so I'll come back. I can also buy something else. And since I don't seem to have any use for this extra gold, I'm going to go ahead and buy this axe.
A peasant's weapon, but effective nonetheless.
So we'll buy this, and we'll equip it.
Interesting choice.
And we're perfectly fine for now, so we'll back out of this. A winding trail.
An ambush. Hardly fair, is it?
So this is the first encounter card where it's going to just deal me a bad experience so I can learn about combat. Suddenly, a tree falls across your path, blocking the way ahead. The dealer draws you 1 monster card. Weapons bristle from the trees around you. The wielder's face is obstructed by the undergrowth. Attack the cowardly band for daring to threaten you, or give them all your gold. I'm going to attack. You shout out a battle cry and raise your weapon. The battle begins. So now we start to see the way that encounters play out. As opposed to the way that things function in a typical D&D game where you are forced to do dice rolls for damage and it's a bit slow-paced, it replaces combat with the fast-paced experience of a video game, which is fantastic. So it's going to run me through a bit of a tutorial here.
You can now counter your opponent's attacks. Hit the counter button when you see the flashing indicator.
Alright, so pretty straight and forward. You can play this with mouse and keyboard if you want to. I am playing it with controller because it really does feel better that way. So there was a counter that I had to get. And there we go. It wasn't too difficult at all. Of course, then again, this is the very first encounter, and I'm quite experienced at this game already, so not too much surprise. Trust me, I've spouted unbelievable amounts of obscenities at this game because it can get very difficult at times. Alright, you search the bodies for loot, and the dealer draws you 3 gain cards. So first, I get to draw an equipment from my armory, just a standard shield.
I cannot expect you to get by without some protection.
I'll go ahead and equip it, it doesn't matter. I gain 5 food for my resources, and I get to draw another equipment. I get another shield.
A strong left arm is as important as a strong right arm, after all.
I have a whole lot of redundant equipment in my deck right now. You can switch out your deck as you progress through the game because you earn more cards.
Really? Is that what you're going to do?
So, multiples of the exact same thing. We'll go forward. Dead Man's Gorge.
I'm sure it's not called Dead Man's Gorge without reason.
While crossing the ancient rope bridge of Dead Man's Gorge, you hear sounds of movement from below. It's an ambush! Draw 1 monster card. So, we get the 2 of dust again. Sometimes these cards can be very unforgiving. You'll get like the 5 of dust, or, you know, some of the higher tier enemies in the game. Bandits are not all that difficult. So I can also skip this little beginning animation. And there we go. So this first level is extremely slow and laid out for you. You recover what you can from the dead. The dealer draws you 3 gain cards. Okay, so again, 3 gain cards. Draw 3 and select one to keep. So, I've taken 3 from my inventory. I've got the healing cap, the axe, and the sword. So, these I've already seen in the, at the shop. It doesn't really matter which one I choose.
Are you a woodsman turned warrior now?
Okay, I gained 3 food. The very beginning here is being very, very generous to me. Usually it is much, much more difficult than this.
You have reached my first champion. A good man driven to madness by a war that took all from him. Wife and child, kith and kin. From such dark and brittle iron I forge my tools. Now we see your metal.
It's a bit verbose.
This token will unlock more cards if you can defeat this encounter.
Okay, so this is an important component. Those tokens that are floating in the air to the right, that the dealer just took out of his little jar there, those are actually more cards that you unlock. There are many, many cards in the game that will unlock, that have a token associated with them. There are even chain quests where if you complete step 1 of a quest, you will get the token that will unlock card 2 that you can add to your deck for encounters. So in this case, I'm getting 3 tokens for beating the Jack of Dust, if I beat him. What's more, you can see a little sun symbol at the bottom of the card for Jack of Dust. That means that he is a card that I have yet to beat, or there is still something to unlock, okay? So, let's start this battle. Jack of Dust. Alright, so my main problem is that the Jack of Dust can empower the other bandits around him.
Some enemy attacks cannot be blocked or countered. Get out of the way or stop them with your own counterattack.
Okay, it looks like I killed the Jack of Dust. Now I just have to clean up. Oh no. I want to try to kill him as fast as I can. Alright, that's it. And of course there is a dodge and a roll button along with everything else. And again, you see these counters that I'm doing, I would not be able to perform these without a shield, which is what makes it so incredibly important. What's more, there are some incredible, oh, hey, we finished. All the bandits are dead. Now all we have to do is grab the card.
Down into the worms with him. Perhaps there is peace for him in the grave, poor soul. One champion has been sent to the cabinet. Yet we are only at the start of our road. You will face 11 more opponents who will test your strength, your memories, and your resolve. Few fall at the first hurdle. None reach the last. We have wagered, and you have won. You may claim your rewards, yet I will also claim mine. As you improve, so do I. Balance must be retained.
Alright, so now that the dealer is done with his little speech, as a reward for defeating the Bandit Jack, you receive these new cards. So I've unlocked the next boss, the Jack of Skulls. I've also unlocked the encounter card, Dead King's Hall. The encounter card, Local Peasant. The Devil's Choice, the River, and the Captain of the Guards. And here's another token. As a reward for defeating the Bandit Jack, you receive these new cards. Medium Armor, Chains of Rage, Mercenary Contract, Medium Armor, Fortitude's Breath, and Desperate Measures. Alright, so we've got some equipment. Fantastic stuff, and we've got one more token to unlock. For defeating the Bandit Jack, I will give you the one new challenge. The Bandit Attack. Alright, so this card and other cards that I just unlocked have a little keyhole or a lock on the top. That means that it is forced upon me. That means I cannot remove this from my deck, and I must keep it in my hand until I fulfill some sort of special prerequisite for me to freely add and remove it from my deck. And that is the Hand of Fate.
Shall we deal again?
I hope you guys enjoyed taking a look at this fantastic game. I love playing it. I've spent hours upon hours playing it. I'm going to play a couple of more levels for you guys in other videos, and we'll also take a look at some other games that I call my faves of 15. But until the next video, I'll see you guys later. Thanks for watching. Bye!